Yes.
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 Of course.
So animal welfare in Arizona is definitely a social justice and just a social issue in general. Unfortunately, we have a very large population of homeless pets, a lot of animal abuse, a lot of animal neglect, and as we know, these are domestic animals, these are pets. This is a problem that we caused as a community, and now unfortunately we're having a very difficult time controlling.
When we become desensitized to human beings even, and we take take things out on animals, I think things like cockfighting and dogfighting, and even some of the things that you see on the news, the hoarding that happens with people. I know that's a psychological issue for people, but people leave their animals out year round. They chain them up. People don't often think about the responsibility that goes with having a pet is what happens. And I know that when the housing crisis happened in 2008, people would leave their homes and they'd leave pets behind. And so, yeah, I definitely believe it's a social justice issue. I think that the way a society treats their pets, especially domesticated animals, because they have been our pets, the way we treat them says a lot about society, about that society.
If you can't even be compassionate to like this other creature, like how are you going to be compassionate to people? Like kind of learning that like there's a reason parents get their kids dogs, is to kind of learn to take care of something, learn some responsibility, kind of you build those relationships with your pets.
How relationships are just a key construct of our society. So learning to care for one another, learning to build those basics of society comes down to, at the beginning, taking care of our animal friends, right? They count on us to look after them, and if we can't do that, we ultimately are letting us all down.
That's a really hard question to answer. One, I don't have exact statistics on it. Because we are a border state, obviously, there's just two big demographics here in Arizona. And a lot of it just has to do with cultural differences, whether one, has less pet ownership responsibility, whatever it might be. I can't say one way or another. What I can say is that animal welfare, as far as education goes, it's very, very low in minorities, incredibly low. Nationally, just last year, Latinos, African Americans, Asians, really anything that's classified as a minority in the U.S., as far as being in an animal welfare profession, it's under 5% nationally.
So in my neighborhood, you rarely see animals running loose, dogs running loose. When you do, they typically have a collar on, and it's because they escaped their yard or somebody accidentally let them out or something like that. So in my neighborhood, you don't see a lot of that. I think just because my husband and I walk every morning, and so we do see dogs peeking out windows, so we know they get to, go inside and not necessarily left out. In fact, there aren't a lot of cats even running loose, so I think there's probably a lot more house cats in our neighborhood. But when I drive into work, then I'm coming through different neighborhoods, and some of those neighborhoods you see dogs running loose, you see cats. There's a lot of feral cats in this neighborhood.
.97% of the 10 billion animals tortured and killed each year are farm animals.
Factory farming is an industrial process in which animals and the products they generate are mass-produced. The animals are not seen as individual, but as eggs, meat, milk, leather, etc. Because factory farming is a business, its goal is to maximize production and consequently profit. Since the animals are seen as products, they are bred, fed, confined, and drugged to lay more eggs, birth more offspring, and die with more meat on their bones.
Antibiotic resistance is one of the world's most pressing public health problems. Illnesses that were once easily treatable with antibiotics are becoming more difficult to cure and more expensive to treat. Infections from common antibiotic-resistant foodborne bacteria such as Salmonella can cause more severe health outcomes than infections with bacteria that are not resistant to antibiotics.
80% of the antibiotics sold in the United States are used in meat and poultry production. The vast majority is used on healthy animals to promote growth or prevent disease in crowded or unsanitary conditions. The meat and poultry production industry argues that there is no harm in this.
Many people go through life unaware of the impacts that food have on them. The food industry is a social justice issue because of the way the animals are being treated and because of the products, both growth hormones and antibiotics, being given to them. The growth hormones that are being given to all the animals stay in their meat throughout their lives, which, in turn, we eat. These hormones make the animals grow so big so fast that their bones have not had enough time to strengthen, so they crack under their own weight. These hormones have a huge impact on you for many reasons, especially towards women. The growth hormones that are being administered to the animals are fat soluble, which mean that they are stored in your fat. Scientifically speaking, women typically have a higher body fat percentage than men, which makes women more at risk of retaining these molecules in their body. They stay in areas of high fat concentration such as the breast, where many issues can occur. Lumps in the breast can be caused by an imbalance of hormones. These could potentially turn cancerous. These effects are not merely directed towards adult women, but adolescent girls as well. These effects include disrupting the natural order of which the body naturalizes its own growth hormones to grow at their natural rate. The hormone zeranol affects the height and breast size during their adolescent ages.
Studies suggest that mothers' beef consumption while pregnant is associated to their sons having lower sperm concentration and possibly connected to infertility when older. These findings suggest that this may be due to the anabolic steroids and other antibiotics that are foreign to the body, which are found in meat. Research showed that the concentration or volume of the sperm was 24% higher in the sons of the mothers which had low beef consumption when pregnant. It was opposite for the men who were born with mothers that had a high beef consumption when pregnant. It was almost 18% of males in this group who had sperm concentrations below the threshold that reached infertility. This is about 3 times more chance to have infertility when older compared to the men whose mothers had low meat consumption when pregnant.
Antibiotic resistance is the ability of bacteria to resist the effectiveness of an antibiotic. Antibiotic resistance occurs when bacteria change in a way that reduces the effectiveness of drugs, chemicals, and other agents designed to cure or prevent infection. The bacteria survive and continue to multiply, causing more harm.
Ending animal abuse is an important step in ending all violence. People usually focus on the abuse of animals such as pets, like cats and dogs. What people don't realize is that the most common way that animals are abused is for food, so going vegan is the best way to become cruelty-free.
Animals are not simply food products. They are individuals who want to enjoy their lives. An animal's life is as important and irreplaceable to them as ours is to us. But as children, we are conditioned to view cows, pigs, chickens, sheep, and fish as inferior beings whose reason for existence is to provide us with meat, milk, and eggs. We need to stop thinking of them as just resources and to start viewing them for who they are, individual sentient beings whose lives deserve to be respected and valued. Around 9 billion land animals are killed each year in the United States to produce meat, dairy, and eggs. That's about 1 million every hour. The average American meat-eating man, woman, and child subsidize the abuse and slaughter of over 37 animals per year.
The greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals are treated.